Now there's literally thousands of guitar amps and effects already on iOS. But which apps actually have the best raw guitar sounds, either sampled or modeled? Well, let's find out right after this. Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am your host, Vortex, from MobileMusicPro.com, your home for mobile music production. And if you are new to the channel, what we do here is release weekly videos teaching people how to produce music on their iOS device. Now, to be clear, we're not going to be discussing MIDI strumming apps or guitar amps or effects in this video, because we've already covered those topics in the past, so definitely make sure to check those videos out when you get a chance. In this video, we're actually just going to be covering the raw guitar sounds themselves, either sampled or modeled. And to date, there's really been no physically modeled guitars released on iOS, except for GeoShred. Everything you'll find is most likely going to be sample-based, as iOS devices used to not be that fast, which of course is no longer the case thanks to the M1 chip. And perhaps you can even use some of these guitar sounds to create a track and enter it into our brand new music production contest with over $500 in prizes up for grabs. Alright, and now with that intro aside, let's hop right into CUBASIS and start playing with some of these guitar apps. Now for this video, we will be using some guitar MIDI from some of our premium sample packs, including Riot and Arena. And of course, all of our sample packs do come with a MIDI in addition to just the raw audio. And today we will be testing out acoustic guitars, electric guitars, and electric bass guitars. And finally, just remember again, folks, that these are just our top 5 picks, so definitely make sure to leave yours in the comments below. Alright, now let's go ahead and explain this project and get started with our very first guitar app. So what we have here is a project with 3 different tracks, and those tracks are going to be a chord track, a track with some notes, and then finally a track with some bass. Now the chords track is also going to have a MIDI effect on it, which is going to be Rhythm Bud, and we are using that to strum our guitar notes. As you can see here, we have a 1-bar strum. If we go to the strum here and select, we can see we are strumming at around 30%. But other than that, we just have our MIDI laid out here, again in chords, notes, and bass notes. So let's now get into our very first app, which is going to be World Piano. Now this app is a little interesting because it used to be called World Synth, but then they changed it to World Piano. And actually inside of AUV3, it's called Pro Keys. So the naming can be a little confusing there. But nevertheless, this is a fantastic app. And what we're going to be testing first is the acoustic guitar, then we'll test its electric guitar, and then finally its bass guitar. And we're going to do this for basically every single one of these 5 apps. So if we do bring up the Pro Keys or World Piano app here, we can see that we have a couple of packs that I've already purchased, including bass acoustic, bass electric, guitars acoustic, and guitars electric. And these packs are actually a pretty good deal. I think they were only $4 a piece. And if you go to the store, I believe you can buy lifetime access, literally access to every single one of these sounds for only $30. So a pretty good deal there. So now let's start listening to some of these sounds. Again, we're going to start out with the acoustic first. Alright, next up, let's check out some of the electric guitars inside of this app. right, absolutely beautiful. And now let's move on to the bass. So just super nice and round and fat bass sounds in here as well. So much fun. But absolutely overall, just a ton of different guitars in this World Piano app. And now for the second app in today's video, which is going to be Pure Synth Platinum. And we've definitely featured this app in a ton of videos on the channel before. And here we are busting it out yet again for its amazing guitar sounds. So once again, we're going to start out with the acoustic guitars first here, starting out with the flamenco guitar preset, and let's hit play. So just a ton of beautiful sounding acoustic guitars in here. And if you full screen this, you can see that the categories are indeed similar to the previous app, including acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass acoustic, and bass electric guitar. But let's go ahead and move on to the electric guitar now. All right, very cool. Just some more awesome guitar sounds in here. So now let's take a look at the bass guitars. and these bass guitars are delicious. Just really love the low-end harmonics coming out of these sampled instruments. And of course, Pure Synth Platinum isn't just known for its guitars, but also for its keys and pianos as well. So for sure, some of the best sampled guitars and pianos are definitely living inside of Pure Synth Platinum. And now for the third app we'll be discussing today, which is going to be Steel Guitar Pro by Yonak Inc. And just as the name indicates, it is a fantastic steel guitar. So if we pull up the app here, you can see it looks really great in AV3 compact mode, but also looks great in full screen mode. And inside of this app, you'll find a ton of different guitars, amps, and effects. We're just going to be trying out a few of these guitars today, but hopefully you get the idea of how this app sounds. Now let's go ahead and make this a little smaller and get started once again with our acoustic sounds here. I've also adjusted the MIDI just a little bit here that we've been using for our chords by simply just removing the fifth note in these chords. So let's hear what this sounds like. So definitely some gorgeous guitar sounds there. Let's now move on to the electric guitars here. Alright, so as you can hear, just a ton of beautiful guitar sounds inside of Steel Guitar Pro. You might think at first maybe it's only for country because it's called steel guitar, but there's actually some great electric guitars in here that work super great for a number of different genres. Alright, and the next app on today's list is going to be the Bismarck BS16i. Now, just like the Pure Synth app, this app is going to have a bunch of different sampled sounds in addition to just the guitars. But of course today we will be just focused on the guitars. So we have the app pulled up here. And if we full screen this, and then do a search here for the presets, scroll up and just search for guitar, type in guitar, and hit search, we can see we do have a number of different types of guitars here, including nylon guitars, steel guitars, clean guitars, overdrive, and much more. So once again, we have an acoustic nylon guitar chosen, and we are going to listen to what this sounds like with some more strumming. Alright, just gorgeous sounding guitars in there. Just like before, we're going to now move on to the electric guitars over here. Alright, that sounds pretty great. Now let's go ahead and move on to some bass sounds. Alright, so some pretty decent sounding guitars in there. Of course, there's no additional effects or amps to give these sounds any additional sauce within the app itself, whereas some of the other apps had some additional effects and stuff, but nevertheless, they still sound pretty good dry. Plus, this app happens to be super efficient as well, so you can have just a ton of instances on this without having to freeze your track. This has pretty much become my AUV3 sample tank replacement, since of course sample tank still doesn't have an AUV3 version. So overall, just a great app and a ton of different sounds, including a bunch of great guitar sounds. And finally, last but not least on today's list is going to be GeoShred by Jordan Rudess' company, Wisdom Music. Now, if you haven't heard about this app by now, you must be living under a rock because this is one of the best guitar apps on all of iOS, for sure, hands down. You're just not going to be able to find other apps that can shred as hard as GeoShred, as is indicated by the name. And this app just has a ton of stuff to love too, including its MPE interface and all of the hundreds of presets of sounds. Now, contrary to the name, it doesn't just have electric guitars for shredding. It also has some acoustic guitars. So we're going to start out with a couple of those first. So right away, we have our Steel Drobo acoustic setting. So definitely some great acoustic guitars in there, but now let's move on to some more electric guitar sounds. Definitely some shredding leads in there. This Sabbath 5th preset is particularly shred-tastic. Alright, and now it's time again for our final thoughts. And if you are still rocking with us, we just can't thank you enough for being here, especially those folks that are here every single Wednesday and Friday to watch our live streams and our live premieres. Now again guys, these were just our top 5 favorites, so definitely make sure to leave yours in the comments below so we could all learn together. You know, while I was doing some research for this video, I did discover that there was actually quite a bit of discussion about this topic in the Audio Bus forum, but most of it was kind of getting a bit dated. Some of the suggested apps no longer work or were no longer available, and some of the apps were no longer being supported, but for whatever reason, the app just may no longer be accessible. So this video is an attempt to keep that conversation up to date to make sure folks can find the best guitar sounds possible on iOS, without having to look through a million different forum posts, of course. And finally, as we mentioned at the top of the video, definitely make sure to check out our brand new music production contest that is officially ending next Wednesday on September 21st. We've been getting some super fire contest entries in. We can't wait to see what you guys will come up with next. And of course, we've always got more sample packs, giveaways, contests, and much more coming. So if you do want to keep up with everything that we're doing here at the channel, definitely make sure to sign up for our completely free newsletter at mobilemusicpro.com/newsletter. And so, until next time, everybody, keep talking music, and we'll see you later. Hey everybody, Vortex here, and if you're not aware yet, we now have over 100 fully edited mobile music tutorial videos. And we make music every single Wednesday live on our channel right inside of CUBASIS on our iPad. Plus, we also have a bunch of free sample packs, guides, and more at our website at mobilemusicpro.com/free. And so if you are into that sort of thing, producing music on your iPhone or iPad, then definitely make sure to subscribe and check out the rest of the videos on the channel that we know you'll love.